we have some developing news as Ian has made landfall again, this time in South Carolina. You are watching our coverage from our great TV station in Sarasota, Florida. First, I wanted to show you this video from Fort Myers. Kind of give us the baseline stats on Hurricane Ian right now.
Well, Category 4 hurricane right now, winds sustained at 155 miles per hour. That's both confirmed by Hurricane Hunter aircraft and land-based radar.
We're going to take you now to our station based in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, WMBF, as they do have live reporters out and about talking about what it looks like where they live. So let's go ahead and get you to that coverage.
But Victoria, I hate to say it, several more hours of catastrophic conditions to go.
We just got some new video in from the hurricane hunters from inside the storm. And before we get to that, can you give us a little context of why hurricane hunters are flying through Ian's powerful winds? Why do they do that? We're trying to keep up with all of the live reporters out in the field so you can see what it looks like in the Carolinas. Excellent context to set us up for these pictures that we just received in. Hurricane hunter who flew into Ian says, "I've never seen so much lightning in an eye." Can you shed some light as to why there would be lightning in the eye?
Well, and it's more so the eye wall. Okay. Where all of the lightning is.
This video you see on your screen is from Fort Myers. Can you show us where Fort Myers is in relation to where Hurricane Ian is right now?
Sure. It will gradually continue to slide on shore as we go through the next several hours.
And speaking of the Fort Myers area, we just got some new pictures from Naples, Florida. I want to pop up here for you. Naples is certainly in the path. And here's some pictures showing extensive flooding in Naples, Florida.
Winds are coming in at Naples, and so even more storm surge is going to be taking shape. We're actually nearing high tide as well. So you're at a high tide level, storm surge stacked on top of that. It's the worst combination that you can get when it comes to storm surge.
We were streaming Sarasota, Florida's coverage when they made the announcement that they are withdrawing all emergency services from that area. So I did want to play a clip from the mayor announcing that. So let's go ahead and take a listen in. All right, there's a little insight to what people are dealing with down there in western Florida. I do have some video I wanted to share with you. This is where Hurricane Ian has sucked water away from the coast in Tampa, Florida. Clay, I've heard of tsunamis doing this, but why would a hurricane suck water away from the coast?
Well, so Tampa Bay is located on the north side of the storm, and the opposite of what is happening down to the south side of the storm, where all of the water is piling into all of the bays down to the south. The opposite is happening in Tampa Bay.
Again, we are taking a look at this storm from a national level, but we do have a station and boots on the ground from several of our great TV stations down there in that hurricane, and we're going to continue deferring our coverage to them. Right now, we're going to take you to Sarasota, Florida, where our station WWSB has been streaming and airing their coverage around the clock. All right, we will continue to check back in with our Sarasota, Florida station. I do have Nick Lawton with me. He's in Studio B. He's been looking all over social media to kind of give us a look at what things look like right now in Florida. Nick, what have you found? Officials are rolling back their services because, Clay, they had mentioned that the wind has reached a certain point where they are not going to help people anymore. So those who chose to stay they're basically essentially on their own.
But yeah, to your question about the winds, let's take a look here. Now, Sarasota up here just a little bit, right in between this icon and this icon. What I want to show you here, and we'll just zoom in a little bit closer so you can see Sarasota right here.
We're focusing in on our Sarasota, Florida station.
Sure.
Can you kind of give us some context about where Sarasota is in relation to this storm? Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he is stressing that people in Ian's path along the coast should rush to the safest possible shelter and stay there. And I wanted to play for you a video where an emergency Manatee County official, he actually got emotional talking about people evacuating and why it's important. We are back here at Local News Live headquarters, broadcasting out out to more than 100 TV stations across the country who are watching with a very close eye Hurricane Ian. Right now, you are listening to officials in the state of Florida sharing resources and explaining what they plan to do in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. We're going to get you those details about exactly what Hurricane Ian is looking like right now with our chief meteorologist, Clay Osterley, who's standing by. Clay, any new updates? Where does Hurricane Ian stand now?
Victoria, it's not looking good. It's getting worse by the minute here across the western coast of Florida.
And actually, I'm going to pull a quick audible here. It looks like they are showing pictures right now. So I wanted to get you out to their station. But when we come back to Local News Live, I wanted to share with you some video we've been gathering here. So let's take you out to Sarasota, Florida. Looks like Ian is pulling away from at least Charleston at this time. And we're going to go ahead and Nick's helping me out here. You can see him right here popping up this video for us. Oh, actually, Nick just popped up what we needed. So we're going to pull an audible here and get you out to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's giving updates about this storm. Let's go ahead and get you out to Ron DeSantis. But we wanted to take you now to WMBF. That is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where one of their meteorologists, Matt Bullock, is out showing us what it looks like out there in Myrtle Beach. We've seen that a pier collapsed and there are flooded streets throughout Myrtle Beach. So let's go ahead and bring you their coverage. WMBF in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. While I have you, I wanted to show you what it looks like out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You had mentioned there's inland flooding and a lot of wind. And this is actually a live look right now. One of our reporters down in Myrtle Beach is reporting right now. So let's actually bring up her audio and take a listen to what she's saying. We are monitoring all of our South Carolina stations right now as Hurricane Ian has officially made landfall again, this time in South Carolina. Clay, we've been following Hurricane Ian for some time now, and we saw the effects and the damage that happened in Florida. What's the difference here for people who may just now be tuning in? They haven't been following this storm. What's the difference between what people saw happen to them in Florida versus what may happen in the Carolinas? I actually wanted to bring people out to Myrtle Beach right now because they have been collecting excellent viewer video. They have reporters in several locations, so we wanted to bring you out there. But we will check back in with you, Clay, so don't go too far. Again, we were speaking with Chief Meteorologist Clay Osterley. I wanted to bring you some images coming out of Myrtle Beach as large waves are crashing into a pier. Let's go ahead and take a look at this together. Be aware if you are coming from any other part of the country and expecting to make a connection in Charlotte, North Carolina, there are a significant amount of cancellations. We are up to 314 now. Charlotte, North Carolina, we do have a great TV station there, and one of their reporters was at the airport and gives us an update. Let's go ahead and take a listen in. We love the view of the skyline there in Charlotte, and it's usually pretty steady. So we can tell it's pretty windy out there because the camera is shaking quite a bit. And we did want to get you back out to our Myrtle Beach station as they have live reporters in a number of spots. They've been going wall to wall, which essentially means they're not taking commercial breaks for hours now, trying to keep their communities in the loop and updated so they can be as safe as possible. Let's get you out to WMBF as right now they are showing viewer submitted photos and videos. I wanted to bring you out to the live reporters out in the field as much as we can. And there is a live reporter live right now in Charleston, South Carolina. Clay, I wanted to re-emphasize for people who are not as clear with hurricane science as you are, what does it mean when a hurricane makes landfall?
I mean, you can clearly see the whole center of circulation right here, and it's as close as it can be to making landfall without officially being called here. So there's the counterclockwise rotation, and you see it gradually making its way. It's just, we're just waiting for the officials to call it at this point.
We are here at Local News Live. We are waiting on President Biden to speak about the federal response when it comes to Hurricane Ian, as Hurricane Ian, as you just heard from our chief meteorologist, Clay Osterley, is about to make official landfall on the Carolinas.